Hey y'all, I'm Marcus Brown, and you're watching The Garden of Good News. Let's get it.
Welcome to another episode of The Garden of Good News. I'm your host, Church Hudson, and I got a very special guest with me today, my brother Marcus Brown. It's a lot to know about this young man of God, of faith, of business, of wits, of all kind of wits. But before we get into it, we got to join hands in prayer. My brother.
Yes, sir.
Lord, thank you for breaking us here together as brothers, as family. To anybody who's watching this right now, we're praying together. When we're praying that we're not only on one accord, but we are continually uniting with the word of God, making sure that we renew our minds daily, continually eating that daily bread, drinking from that cup, making sure that we have the alignment for your assignment and your will and your way, Lord. We pray for increase, Lord. We pray that you would bless us indeed, enlarge our territories, that your hand will be upon us, and that it will keep us from evil and it will not grieve us. In Christ's holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
My brother.
Yes, sir.
How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good. No
I
complaints.
know that's right. No complaints. We can complain, but we won't.
Exactly.
I know that's right,
Exactly.
man. We got a lot of things that we're gonna get into today. Marcus and I have a very unique story on how all this came together. And actually, we was just talking about it before the segment started. It was like this studio, this podcast, a lot of the things that I'm putting out right now. When I was coming out of a dark place in my life, working in that cubicle, and getting the awakening that I was receiving from God, the download that I needed to upload. That's when I first met.
First met, man.
Marcus. So we gonna get into a whole lot. But how you feeling, man?
Man, I'm feeling good. Feeling good,
that's
feeling
right.
Great, man.
Yeah, and I know your days usually start with the kids, right?
7 a.m.
7 a.m. Just like
7
me.
a.m.
We both teach. You know what?
Yeah.
We went from the cubicle
To the classroom.
to education.
To the
I
classroom.
almost forgot about that. So we both work with the kids. How is that going for you? And what school are you at? For the people who don't know, I know, but put them down with what's going on.
I got you.
School.
So I'm at Savannah Legacy Academy. It's a K through 8th grade. Once upon a time it was K through 12th, but we dialed it back so we could be the best K through 8th we can be, basically. And so I teach middle school math, history, and then on Fridays financial literacy to give them a different scope of things that we get into math, we get into history, not why. So we get that on Fridays with financial literacy, and it's going good, man. It's going real good.
I know that's right.
Yes, sir.
When I remember when you was telling me about it, when we was working together, I was contemplating whether I was going to go into it or not. And I was, like I said, before I came to Total Quality Logistics, that's what TQL mean, y'all. Before I got to TQL, I wasn't really in my word. I kind of identified to be more spiritual than to be walking with Christ, than being a man of faith, being a man of the way, Yahweh. And when I started getting into that word and going through the things I was going through, because I was still in a very dark place and things were falling apart for me. People were leaving my life in this realm to death. And one of the things that struck me one day when I was in the cubicle, it was clear as day. I heard God's voice was like, "I want you around the kids. Everything that you desire and out of your heart for bringing glory to my name, in the name of my name, I want you around the kids." I'm like, around the kids, like. And at the time, I didn't know how I would be able to go into that path because I had some legal issues I was fighting, and I didn't even know how I got TQL job.
Wow.
Because I wasn't, I had to work warehouse jobs and stuff for what was going on at the time.
God had a purpose.
I had a purpose, man. And fast forward now, I think when I was talking to you, those conversations we would have was a part of my rehab, my therapy.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Because we were having those meeting of the mind type of, conversations. well, it wasn't like low level conversation where it's like who won the game last
Yeah.
night. You know what I'm saying?
Who
Where
played,
you
yeah.
going out? Like what bar? Nah, I mean we could talk about sports and different things too,
Balance
but
it out.
it was more about like purpose.
Yeah.
And what's the meaning for us waking up? Does this job that we work, does it align with our overall purpose? And we saw a light at the end of the tunnel, I believe, in the beginning, but as we grew and together and just learning what was going on, it was like, and I'm like,
this ain't
yo,
it.
people gotta. And I'm like, you showed me
it.
the school, like, man, your people in education like that.
Yeah.
It was amazing, man.
Yeah.
So like, for people that don't know, like, how was that process of starting a school from the ground up? Because that's one of my dreams, to do that at some point.
To be completely honest with you, I can't tell you the process starting a school from the ground up because that was my parents. So my roots, born Margaret Brown, Marge Brown. My mom, she a retired teacher.
Right.
My dad, he's retired. He was one of the first counselors at Reedsville, and things worked out where he got to retire real early. And so when he retired real early, he had that same question like purpose.
Right.
And so his purpose, being in that prison, seeing all our community in there, he said, look, I got to do something different to save them.
Right.
And so about 40 years ago, it was originally called Ash Street Academy, well, Ash Street Organization. And so he started that as to be save the youth from going to prison system. And so he met with the judge. He was like, give me 48 weeks. They called it a 48-week program. Give me 48 weeks with them. If they don't, I give them a different life. If they don't make a change next time you see them, send them to jail. So now that 48 weeks, that 48 weeks went by. He took them to Six Flags. He just showed them a different life. Showed them golf, just a different life.
Right.
And so those same kids went before that judge, and that judge said, "Wow, you kids, they different." Showed them God, showed them Christ. Just to change the kid's life in that 48 weeks. And so fast forward maybe like 30 years, that same program. My dad talked to my mom, was just like, "Hey, we need to start, instead of intervention, let's prevent this from happening."
Right.
So instead of getting when the problem start, let's prevent the problem from happening.
Yeah.
And so that's when Ash Street Academy came about. With my mom being a retired teacher, he was like, "Hey, retire early for me, please, because you gotta believe in my vision." It's powerful having a white that believe in your vision.
Boy, what you talk about?
And so he talked to my mom. He was like, "Hey, I know you don't retire early, but I need you. I can't do this by myself. I'm not an educator. I don't know what it takes, so I need you." And so she came on board with turning her retirement early, whatever the case may be. And they started Ash Street Academy, Ash Street Preparatory School. And so when that started out with, I want to say, like 3 kids, talking about nothing. Then my mom started meeting with more people. My mom she got a gift. Got people giving. Started meeting with different people and stuff like that. Went from that 3, and then we was on Habersham at a time. Build the building up. K through 12. Over capacity. Don't tell nobody that. Don't tell nobody that though. The fire department, whatever. But it was over capacity.
Right.
Serving that purpose. And so with the school being there and everything, I was still in. I wasn't even born yet. But by the time I got around, and Ashley was still there, he started a basketball team. And he was just like, "Hey," in my senior year now, he was like, "Hey, come join me with Ash Street Academy." Now at this time, Ash Street Preparatory School.
Right.
And so getting ready for the college level, whatever. So that's when I came on board as a student first. And then full circle moment after I got the degree and everything, came back as an educator.
Yeah. And then so it started as Ash Tree Organization, then Ash Tree Preparatory,
and then Savannah Legacy Academy.
And then now Savannah Legacy Academy.
Yes, sir.
So it went from Habersham.
Oh, so it was on Habersham Street at first.
Right.
And then that building we was there for years. I want to say like maybe 10, 15 years. Mm-hmm. So like I told you, it was over capacity, right?
Right.
So we had to do something different. And so we moved to 36 and Waters across the street from our church. And it was a little small lot. Man, talk about God. And so the person that was staying there was one of our old students. And so once he left, they tore the house down. And that was an empty grass lane that nothing was going on.
Right.
And so God talking to my dad, he talked to the people. He was like, "Hey, can we get this house?" And the guy was like, "Hey, it's just taxes that's owed on it." So my dad paid the taxes off. We got that lot, and then built a school right there next to the church.
Man,
can't beat it, man.
And I love the design.
That's Mama Brown.
I love the design of the school, man. That school, to me, Man, that's the best look. I know that's the best looking school on that side of town, hands down.
Appreciate that. Man.
Yeah, man. It's like and Waters is rebuilding itself.
Man,
you know,
see it?
like it really to be. I don't know. I could be wrong, but in I came down during COVID, and I will come and visit home, you know, back and forth or whatever like that. But before they started doing any type of renovations on that road, that was like the first nice looking piece of property to uproot up on that street.
Yeah.
The first one. Now I know they
did it now. I'm trying to think back. Yes.
I don't remember. Like I didn't, you know.
Because the next thing that came up, they put police precinct there, and that looks very, very beautiful now. Then a few restaurants came after that. But yeah, that was around the first thing.
That was the first thing that was one of the first things that made it get the street a nice look, like a
it changed
nice
whole
curbside
vibe
appeal. Yeah, nice lawn. You know, it's a, you know, the people, black people, or however you want to call it, melanated people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That got a school from a family, not a public school or anything like that. Like, and people of the faith, people that walk with Christ. You know, I think that is and still is something that's inspiring. I didn't even know. I'm like, how I ain't know about this. But yeah, man, that's definitely something that I want everybody to kind of turn their attention to. You know, if you have any children that's going to middle school or K-8, Savannah Legacy Academy, you need to check it out. I'm telling you, they doing some really great work over there, man, and it's beautiful. Don't believe me. Go check it out for yourself.
I like it.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and I like on this platform, we talk about sowing and reaping, you know, on a metaphorical sense. You know, we do talk about garden-related products, you know, and on the Garden of Good News, we have meaningful conversations over coffee, tea, wine, and anything that's fine that grows from the garden. We have some unbeat apple. How do I say this?
Unbeatable.
Ooh, listen, y'all.
Yeah.
Listen. Y'all got to peep. This is Brandon right here. So it sounds off unbeatable, but it's UNBEET, like the beats, and apple. I like this. Be unbeatable on the bottom of it too.
You know it.
So I can kind of assume beats are in it and apple.
Oh, you know it. So in there, I'll tell you a little bit how that started. And so my dad, me and my wife, we big on, like, you know, you remember, big on like nutrition, natural remedies, all that good stuff. And so my pop, kind of old school, he wasn't really listening. And so he was taking he laid it down to me like he was saying something big. He's taking a whole bunch of blood pressure pills. I said, Pop, what you doing, Pop? Like, you know, we don't do this. And so he was like, man, my doctor said I gotta do it. And so I was like, hey, Pop, I got something for you. And so at the time we was doing the juice shots.
Right.
Well, by ourselves, not for like product or nothing like that.
Right.
And so I was like, hey, Pop, you know, strawberries and lemons, that knock that right out for your blood pressure. And so I started giving to him for about 30 days to like over a month. I said, please don't take the medicine so we can know this work. And so I ain't no doctor, ain't no cure, nothing like that. But I was like, just, you know, my pop, trust me. And so strawberry, lemons, ginger, you should start doing that for about 30 days. 30 to 45 days. Blood pressure. Went back to the doctor, but doctor didn't know what's going on. He was like, you must be taking your pressure, must be taking your medicine. He told the doctor. I told him not to, but he told the doctor.
He told the doctor anyway.
I ain't took it. It's right here. And he did the same big thing he said to the doctor. I was like, okay, Pop, you gonna get me in trouble, man. What you doing all that for?
Right.
And so, anyway, he started taking that. So that's all he does now. The strawberry, lemon, ginger, that's it.
Right.
And so that's when we said, oh, we onto something with this. Hold on now. And so that's when 360 Shots was born. And so that was a couple years ago. It was like $5 for a shot. It's kind of pricey. It's like a lot of money.
Right,
and so we started brainstorming, like, we need this out here because it'll help people.
Right.
But we can't break the bank and do it.
Right.
And so that's when 360 Shots involved in 360 Juice. Be like, hey, we get more bang for their buck and still got the same benefits. And so that's when Unbeatable was born.
Unbeatable.
Be unbeatable.
Be unbeatable.
Yeah.
Man, I believe we can go and grab you one. I'm about to, man, look here. I know it's cold outside, but it's toasty in the studio.
Yeah, you be warm.
And I've been moving around. I say, boy, I might drink this whole thing in one thing, man.
Show them it's real.
Oh yeah, that's biting. Oh yeah,
That flavor profile, right?
yeah, that flavor. Mm-hmm. Man, I gotta make sure I tap in. I'm getting ready to go on this detox Wednesday. I just been since the beginning of the year. It's just been nonstop grind, nonstop. Like, man, I'm not leaving. I told my grandma yesterday I want my obituary to be long. I wanted to read so much, like, boy, this man was
He ain't
going
done.
crazy.
He must live too long.
Man, but not to talk about the death. This is gonna give you life, man.
Yeah, man,
I
facts,
like this
facts.
juice, though. This is good, man. And I need energy, constant energy, the most I can have, you know. And that really be the biggest thing. You know, some people struggle with health and wellness and fitness because they more so concerned about how they look in the mirror versus how you look in the X-ray, how you look in an MRI. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What can't you see?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What the eye don't mean, like what your organs. You know, you wanna prioritize that, and the physique
It's gonna come.
It's gonna come. It's gonna come.
You take it inside, the outside gonna happen.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of us we go more on what we see and how we feel, and if we're not seeing the results that we want fast enough, we kind of get weary. Yeah, we get weary in the health and wellness and the fitness journey. So I just want to let people know, like, man,
It's a marathon.
it's a marathon. You didn't become overweight overnight.
But
You
you
know
said
what
a
I
mouthful
mean?
then.
So you're not gonna lose all the weight overnight. And I was talking to a brother. I know this is a jump, right, from what we're talking about, but it has the same type of context, you know, as he was struggling with, you know, porn and just sleeping around in general. I'm like, man, you're not gonna just be able to just flip the switch overnight. You know, you've been kind of at this for a while. You know what I mean? It's just gonna have to take it one day at a time. I kind of almost look at it like digging a hole in the ground, like scoop by scoop.
See that?
And then, yeah, God forgives you right then and there. You get a clean slate, but you still in the hole. Yeah, you still in the hole. Your body's still on fire.
Yeah.
Your body gonna be like, I hear you. And the same thing for health and wellness. Yeah, I hear you trying to have some unbeatable, but
I ain't feeling nothing.
let's go to Parker's and get a 69-cent juice with all this sugar.
That's why it's cheap.
You know what I mean?
That's why.
Why pay this money for the real thing when you can go and get this big old 79-cent, but then it's gonna have all the guilt with no reward. You know what I mean? And I think that's just how it is, man. To whom is given, much is required.
That's it.
If you wanna be able to afford something, you're gonna have to pay what you got to pay your desires. Pay with your desires is how I see it.
Either you're gonna pay now or pay later.
Pay now or play later.
Yeah.
Or play now and pay later.
Ooh.
My daddy used to always, that's one of his, boy, that was one of my daddy's golden tickets right
Play
there,
now,
boy.
pay later.
Boy,
like that.
I'd rather pay now and play later, because, man, I've gone to funerals, and you know how the funeral food is. The funeral food is the same, more than likely it's the same type of food that put the person in the box. In the box, you know what I mean? Man, this is a funny story. Great granddaddy passed. Went to the funeral. Repast come, you know, the food lining out. I go in the bathroom. Man, one of them elders was in one of them stalls. Like a whole nother person was coming out of there, boy. I was talking about going through it. Looked like he was on dialysis. He had the breather
the
oxygen tank bound. I was just like, I do not want to pay. I don't want to pay later, dog. I ain't trying to pay later. You know what I mean?
Take care of it now.
While I'm young. Yeah, man. While I'm young, I want to sow some good seeds. So, where can they find this juice, man? For those who out there looking.
So you could find this on 360healthshots.com. 360healthshots.com. We also have an Instagram, 360 Juice, and a Facebook, 360 Juice. But to go direct to the website, 360 Health Shots, and you're good to go. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, so we do advocate for marriage.
Yes, sir.
I'm single, you know.
Yeah.
Not for long.
Yeah.
Because I say yes to marriage.
Speak it.
I don't say no. I say yes.
Speak it. Speak it, boy.
I ain't gonna be like one of them. I ain't gonna be like one of them podcasters that be trying to shame the game. Nah, brother.
I speak it.
Women are great. It's great women out here,
man.
And it's some women of valor out here that love the Lord.
Virtuous woman.
Virtuous, yes, indeed. Who know exactly what's going on, but believes. It's so important. It's so priceless, so valuable. We always talk about the high value this and high value that, but for real, it's priceless to have somebody that genuinely believes in you,
man,
in what you're doing.
Take you to another level.
Take you to another level. How do you feel about how marriage play a role in that, in what you've been doing and how you've been able to do it?
Honestly, even before the marriage, if it wasn't for my wife, I feel like I wouldn't be successful. I know that's saying a whole lot.
Hold on, brother. Let me take a sip of this juice. Let me take a sip of this juice, boy. Listen, boy, but y'all hearing it. Hold on now.
I mean,
say that one more time, bro.
I got you. So without my wife, I don't feel like I'd be successful. I say that with the utmost confidence.
Utmost confidence. It's straight like that, ain't it?
Straight up. Because at the same time, we got married real young.
Right.
We met real young, like 19, 20 type deal. And so we were at 19, 20, of course, we're not the same people we are today.
Right.
But in that process of dating, we made a promise. I remember sitting on the step at Point University, boy, we pinky promised. These years, we're going to figure this out. These years are going to be the most selfish years of our life, but committed to each other. We selfish to where we're trying to go, but we committed to each other. And so throughout that way, that sounded real good, right? But me being a young boy, it didn't work out that way. I made a lot of mistakes, did a lot of these different things, and she stuck by me. Not calmly, she stuck by me, got me straight. And so when I say I won't be successful, was it for my wife? Because she stayed by my side, prayed for me, like
prayed for you,
just stayed by me when the mistakes was happening and guided me. I know you're supposed to be the man, the house guy, but sometimes you got to learn when to follow.
Right.
And throughout that young boy times, she guided me, she helped me. And so as far as like getting to where we are now, that was that young boy. Now I'm here. Right. And so when I was here now, I say we are compared to like a body part. I say pretty much I'm the eyes, but she the heart. She keep the thing going.
She keep that thing
without the heart,
going.
I cannot even see. And so I give a vision. I give a vision for our life or whatever, and make sure we align with it. But at the same time, she keeps it going. She that engine. She be pushing that thing.
She got that thing.
Even
rolling.
when I'm not feeling. When I'm not feeling it, she always seemed like she's always feeling it.
Right.
And so that's why I say with the utmost confidence, I wouldn't be who I am without her. She got me to this point.
Yeah, man, that's deep, man.
And she just believed in the vision. Even, man, story time. You ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready. All
right. So when we was at Point University, we transferred to Georgia Southern.
Right.
And so I had telling her, hey, let's. I'm at Georgia Southern Fair. I was like, just come stay with me for a semester, and then we figure out from there. I had a game plan in my brain. And so I was like, after that semester's over, we get an apartment. We get an apartment, we be straight. Statesboro, cool. But that was in maybe April that time. Summertime, I'm getting into finance. I'm like, that won't be wise. Paying all that rent when I live just an hour away, like 40 Statesboro, and I live in closer Pula. So it's like we could drive back and forth. And when we drive back and forth, I save save money on that apartment. Yeah, we'll go on the gas, but that's what we fill up the tank. We'll do that.
Right.
Like $50 a week, we're good. And so, long story short, she wanted that apartment. She wanted to be in Statesboro. She wanted to have her own place. We never had our own place. Even when we was at Point University, we had roommates. We never had something that was our own. So that's what we talked about. That was the vision. We was like, okay, let's do it. Signed a lease and everything. And so now when that summertime was happening, this is talking to me like, hey, this is temporary. We could be in this apartment for a year and got to do it all over again. or think long term. And so during the summertime, I was looking at houses, looking at prices, looking at mortgages, doing all this different stuff for the future. And so I was like, hey, we got 2 more years of school. Well, I have 2 more years. She got 1 more year. She's smarter than me. And so got 2 more years of school. So we could sit down, come up with this game plan, how much we need to save, what we need to do to get to this number. And then the 2 years, when we graduate, we're not looking like a deer in headlights. We got something that's our own. And so I remember bringing her that it was Chili's. I said, hey, I got good news and bad news. I said, hey, the bad news is I don't think we should get an apartment.
Right.
The good news is our future gonna be straight. So my eyes are like, what you mean? What you mean?
Right.
So I was like, hey, this the part that's gonna get you. This is why I'm saying a wife that believe in your vision, go far.
Yeah.
I asked her, I said, Kira, would you be opposed to staying with my parents for just a year? That's all I'm asking for. If it go longer, it go longer, but I'm asking for a year. If you give me more, cool. And so that was no quick answer. So the chips and salsa came out, chili.
Right.
It was a little quiet at that time.
It was quiet at the table with chips and salsa out.
And so she was like, give me some more detail. I was like, hey, we're gonna have to be working, being in school at the same time. But we hustle, we bustle, stack our bread, stack our money.
Right.
And we could make this happen. I'm telling you, we just gotta stack it up together. I can't do it by myself. By myself, it ain't gonna happen.
Right,
but we
right,
both
right.
gotta put this together and make this happen. And she was like, okay, let's do it. And then she asked, what we're gonna do about the lease? I said, I ain't got that far yet. I just got this far to have a conversation with you.
Right.
And so going back to the lease situation, we found someone to take over the lease. That was a little process in itself. Actually got that like 2 days before we had to. And so we got before the binding contract, whatever.
Right.
And so we got somebody to take over the lease. We stayed at home. That time working like 5 jobs. I was in school, teaching financial literacy just 1 time a week, selling insurance at the time, Hibbets, working at Hibbets, Circle K. Had all these jobs just to work with the schedule. I was still in school. And so she was hustling, bustling. She found a child care job, real part-time. I'm talking about real part-time. We still laugh at that today. But she was working part-time, working super, super part-time. We were just, every dime we got, stacking it. And she just believed in the vision. And so and then when I graduated, that month later after I graduated, I was also signing for our house. So the vision happened. And she believed in it. And honestly, without her, the vision won't happen. Because she was the engine that kept that thing going.
She the engine. She let there be light.
Bruh. And
Lord have mercy.
That foundation, bruh. Having that wife like that vision, believing in the vision, and keeping that thing going, it changed her life like to this day. Like still. I tell her something, she tell me something, we come on the same page, vision, and then the vision get executed throughout the year.
Man, that's hard.
Yeah. That's why I had it. Story time.
Man, listen, man, it's rare, man. It's rare, like, he who findeth the wife findeth a good thing. Man. Not because, and I think findeth and good highlight those together because, boy, it ain't just.
You gotta be searching for that.
You have to be like, and it's not even a matter of it not being a lot of beautiful women or not a lot of smart women, not a lot of successful. It's a lot of beautiful and smart, successful women. A lot of women that are just amazing. But who gonna believe?
Who gonna believe in you?
In you. See that's
key.
And that's the difference. Like we can talk about a lot of things that we see on the internet that women do. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We could talk about a lot of stories we've seen with bad breakups and ugly just toxic stuff. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But let's call a spade a spade. As much as you see toxic behavior and all of this, you can find it's a lot of great women, but who believe in you,
believe in that vision,
who believe in the vision. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us, male and female, man and woman, we have lost a sense of trust in each other, whether it be from our past experience. You may have grew up with one parent. You may have seen different things. So like and then you may have suffered the consequences of just bad choice,
Bad selection. Yeah.
the bad selection. You just got with the wrong person because they fit the profile.
They looked the part.
They looked the part. They played the part, and then once you got in the movie, you figured out your role wasn't the same.
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that ends up turning into a change of heart.
Your perspective changed now.
Your perspective changed. You leave it, and you just like, man. And it's hard to recover from, different experiences. Like, I told my homegirl the other day, I was like, man, if I could do it all over again now, I would have buckled down on something that believed in me. A nice, good girl. You know what I'm saying? Nice. She might not have been, like all decorated like some of the other. No, I would have buckled down and settled and leveled up. Not settled. I would have settled, but I would have leveled up.
Yeah.
Instead
of
you trying to look at the newest thing, the flashy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and them times, it's like the movie The Wood. When you naive and immature and you in your boy state, it's like, well, who gonna get the most numbers? Well, who gonna hit the most? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh man,
it's a different type of competition when you get in there.
You want to get in. You get into, man, I just can't settle down. Like, I'm only 17. Man, I'm about to go to college. I'm about to play ball. I'm about to see all these women.
Yeah.
What?
That's exactly what goes through your head.
That's what goes through your
head.
Went
through my head. Yeah.
Man, look here, man. I'm gonna tell you right now. My young men watching this, the ones who I teach you, any of y'all, I'm telling you now. Buckle up, walk with the Lord. You see a good girl who getting her grades and her book, she ain't following the crowd.
Got some.
Boy, and she can believe, and you focused on your vision. You gotta focus on the vision. Your vision can't be let me chase tail. Your vision got to be to provide an inheritance for your children's children. And number one important, follow the Lord so you can be one with the Father. You see a woman respecting your relationship with Christ and what you own, boy, you better listen. You better go ahead and put your seatbelt on and get in that car with her.
Go for a ride.
Go on, save your time. Go on, save your time, man.
Time and headaches.
A lot of people who you meet, they're better off as a good friend. You know what I mean? You can have fun with a lot of people, but it's only a small certain percentage of people you can build a life with.
Build a life with. Build a life with. I just go through it. Build it up with.
Man, I love that, bro. So you were saying in your journey you was doing financial literacy and you was doing insurance. Yeah. You was teaching the kids. You was hustling. I ain't gonna lie. You a serial entrepreneur to this day. Yeah. And I know you got the juices, but you have book. I know you had a book that you recently published for the kids and everything.
So Cash a Koala. So I ain't gonna spoil stuff that's coming up in the future yet, but Cash a Koala is a book series, and in that book series, it came from KidFit. Me and my wife, we created this brand KidFit, bringing our passions together, of hers being the fitness and nutrition, mine being finance. And so for a long time, I was teaching finance to adults, young adults, and you know how you say you walk in your purpose, walk in your passion. I knew it was something more.
Right.
And so that little taste I was getting teaching those kids back in that hustle and bustle time period, teaching those kids once a week financial literacy, I was like, yo, this is it. And they have no idea what's coming. This will have much more impact than somebody that kind of already got the idea. They in this process already. I could help them get it better. But these kids, they can prevention. I could prevent them from going through that. If I tell them about this financial literacy, this what credit is before they even got to deal with credit, how to save their money, budget their money, invest their money at an early age. And so when I was teaching that and seeing the light bulbs go off and stuff like that with middle school, I was like, oh, this is it. This is it. And it's before KidFit didn't even exist. And so fast forward like 2 years later, KidFit now pops up. And we were going around with a 360 experience. Before we had a location, it was just a couple with a passion. We were just
Right.
going around these different businesses, different child venues, whatever, just like, hey, I teach finance at the end. She does yoga. She do a little nutrition workshop with them. Whatever the case may be, how does it work for your facility?
Right.
And so with the finance, I was like, when we got the child care, I was like, oh, went in there trying to teach 3 and 4 year olds about finance. How you think that went? Man.
I know that's a tough task, man.
So I was like, okay, this ain't gonna work.
Right.
And so that's when the children's book came about. I could now, if I create a book, teach us the value of what money is, why your parents drop you off here in the first place.
If you want to learn more about the book that Marcus is explaining, you go to kidfitness360.com, click on the pre-order of Cash the Koala Learns the Value of Money, and get familiar with the series that will be following with this book and more to come. This is what's growing in his garden, and this is how we sow a seed and a good deed in the people that come in on our platform so we can share the good news to you. Y'all go ahead and check that out. Love.
Basically, the book and what you were doing for the kids, you was like sowing seeds in them, like to prevent them from later on jumping in the matrix, getting their check stub and just throwing it.
Don't know what to do.
Don't know what to do. Don't know what's going in, what's coming out. At least they can have like a template, like a.
Got that seed planted out of water as the years go on.
As the year go on.
Yeah.
And I know you were saying, I think you were saying something like that guy that want to talk about finance, he coming there with the suit from, you know what I mean? He trying to throw numbers at them. They like.
That ain't gonna work. They don't that attention span. They ain't gonna listen to that too long. So.
Cause they understand money, cause they
see it.
Those social media platforms are consumer based. So they know everything. They know more of what money buys than what we knew what money could buy.
They know how to spend it.
And they know how to spend that money. They know what the high fashion.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? Like we had an idea, like we had like shopping online and all that wasn't like
as prevalent as
no.
And then the exposure different now too.
Right.
All the we had some form of social media, but the way they're exposed to all these different things and by the fingertips, because we was at the school, they were watching stuff we watching. We was like, hold on, how you know who that is? How you know what this is? We kids. So it's just like these kids exposed to the same thing adults exposed to. So they spending adult money. So
and they want adult money. They want the things that adult money buy, but we trying to get them to do what adults have to do.
Do what you have to do so you can do what you want.
So that's really the angle. So the book,
talk to me.
The book is it a part of the Kid Fit brand, the lifestyle brand?
Oh yes, most definitely. So like everything that me and my wife do now since Kid Fit exists is based on that, because Kid Fit is like how me and my wife took our passion and made it like a thing. Like our passions, our purpose, we made it to like an actual entity.
Right.
So with Kid Fit being fitness, finance, nutrition, the book is just that aspect of the finance. How can I teach finance to little small kids when they don't want to see that dude in the suit coming up, talk about numbers and
right.
They're like, I don't pay my bills. What you mean number? What you mean saving? So if I could get it to them at a young age, then I could plant the seeds. So like we were just saying, go water a little bit later. But at least it's somewhere in their head that, hey, that money's just not a piece of paper that grow on trees. Your mom is dropping you off, your mom, dad dropping you off every day so they can make more of this paper, make more of this money to give you the life you want. And they working hard, determination to give you the dream that whatever you may dream later on can happen. And so the juice, the nutrition aspect of it, the child care, the kid aspect of it. So everything that we do, the fitness, going around different facilities, doing the yoga, mental wellness with the yoga, with the body to mind connection. And so everything with Kid Fit 360, everything we do is based off that brand, basically. I'm talking about everything, because it aligns with what we do, what our passion is.
Right. And it's like you can be physically fit, financially fit, and not just. And we're not even gonna make this exclusive to you grown folk. We're gonna get with the kids.
Start with the youth.
Start from the sapling, start from the seed.
And I can't even take credit for that. My dad used to say, because he's a pastor, he would say, you get the kid to church, you get the family to church, because who's gonna bring them?
Yeah, that's true.
So you're gonna always get the mom or the dad to come to church if you got that youth wanting to come to church, have a desire to come to church, because somebody got to bring them to church.
Somebody got to bring them. Somebody responsible for them.
They'll get that good news.
Get that good news. I ain't lying. Yes, it is.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is. So, you know, with the lifestyle brand and how you and your wife have put in just great work, you know, like the way that you explain having a vision, but somebody believing in your vision, believing in y'all working together as one, is the reason why I believe in the statistic that 86% of millionaires are married, and it's an even higher statistic for billionaires. I also want to ask you, when it comes to what you're doing together as two, God works in multiplication. And I read in this book, I can't remember what book exactly, but I'm gonna have to do some soul searching because I gotta find this citation. But I remember reading this book, and in the book it was explaining how it's no longer it's no longer a win in the win column for a single businessman to be successful and he make all this X amount of money. What really is a louder volume to the noise of it all is when you leave, do you have a successor to multiply it? Is it just you that really made it all go? Or did you create a culture of excellence where you don't have to be there for it to do what it do, and it grows into something that's beyond you, even when you're in a grave? And that's what I want to say in this book, they was measuring this by whether they wanted to invest in the company to make when they wanted to go public. Wow. Okay. You know, is it the kind of company where they can die off and like a Chick-fil-A, you know, it's easier said than done. It really is like it goes against that. If you want it done right, you got to do it yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and it's hard.
Do everything yourself, all those hats. That's tough.
When you wearing the hats, you feel like, yeah, it's hard, but you know what's hard too? Having to bump your head time and time again, vetting people and dealing with people who are not integral. Their yes is not yes. Their no isn't no.
Can't believe nothing they say. That's tough.
And to really put yourself out there to be let down. You know, you got to give yourself. You expect the best out of people in situations, but you prepare for the worst. Because when the worst happens, you don't want to be unprepared.
You want to be ready, so you got to get ready.
How do you feel about the expansion part of what you're doing right now and trying to get other hands on deck? Is it something that because I know you and your wife are really good with y'all overhead and y'all good, but how do you two working together as one, how do y'all feel about expansion and having more hands on deck with things? Is that something that you would want to do, or you want to keep it more organic and nice and like cultivated, like curated?
So it's a mixture of both with that. We want to expand, and that's kind of what it is process now, but we want to keep it cultivated. We want to bring a lot of people in that's not like-minded. Right. We want to bring people in, want to expand the people that's chasing the same vision, chasing the same mission, chasing the same health conscious aspects. We want to bring someone in that don't care about none of those things, and then they just trying to collect a check or whatever. Right. Or just trying to just be there, go through the motion like we was talking about. Right. And so when they're speaking of expansion, we're in that process of this year trying to do that, but like you just said, vetting people, making sure they're there for the right purpose, they're there for the right mission. And so with the community aspect of expansion, the bigger thing we did even from day one is just touching people, helping people. But when we speak of expansion, planting seeds, the first thing we did with Kid Fit, a couple with a passion. We called a bunch of people on the phone. Hey, do you want to just demo it out for free? And so now that plants a seed that now we could contact them later on. And so I bring that up because there's a couple named Mr. and Miss Jefferson. I call them that so I don't know their first name. Don't remember their first name, I should say. But Mr. and Miss Jefferson, as we were doing that, just giving the demos, they are serial entrepreneurs, but they have multiple child cares. I mean, they master the child care business.
Right.
And so when we went there to do the 360 experience, they aligned. They was about kingdom building. That was one of the Jefferson, she always said, kingdom building, kingdom. And she saw something in me and Kira that it was our first sight, actually. She saw something in me and Miss Kira. She saw me and Kira, something in us, she said, and she just pulled into us. I'm talking about pulled into us. They was out in Midway when we first opened the childcare. They drove down, gave us all the advice to make the childcare the best it could. And this is what God works. Her husband, used to be overstate. Talking about used to do the state go to the different childcares for state to make sure the childcare doing their part. He used to be over that. He came over before we put a shelf in. He said, this shelf need to go here, this shelf need to go here, this shelf need to go there, so you won't have no problems. And so when we say growth, expansion, when you really relying on God, he'll put those people in your life to expand you the right way.
Right.
So you won't just be expanded to expand. I got 500 employees and none of them know you. None of them on the same mission as you. But now you got 2 or 3 employees that's on the same mission, same team, want the same purpose to happen. It'll go a little bit faster with purpose, the right way, instead of now you got to backtrack because now that person gone. Now that person badmouthing. Now that person don't really believe in what you're doing. So, long story to sum it up, expand the right way is what kind of mission is. Find people that's really not just here just to be here, not just to get on a moving train, because now we've been doing it for like a couple years now. They like, oh, now we.
Right.
Are you really on a mission to help these people? Are you really on a mission to do this holistic way of living, to help them, not just to collect a check, not collect money? Are you really just here for the same 360 mission? And so that's why we want to expand the right way. To plant seeds.
Man, I like that. I like that a lot, bro. Because that really is like, I feel like if I had to look at love on a tier level, love is an inside job. You know what I mean? That's why the Bible say, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Yep. You know what I mean? And love thy neighbor as thy love thyself. And so if I deplete myself in the name of trying to sacrifice for others, I don't love myself. So it falls flat.
Yeah.
And, self-mastery and self-preservation and loving yourself and making sure your cup is full so you can pour into somebody else. It's like, okay, now it's extended from me to a mate. We come together as one. All right, now we got 2.
Yeah.
2 is better than 1. Now we got a partnership. Okay, and then you take it a step further to other people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To community, local, reaching the local.
Wow.
You know what? Reaching the people in our arm's length. In a 50-mile square radius. Then it becomes the love and the way that we lock in with the love became so balanced till now all of these people in this 50-mile square radius reach out to the state.
Yeah.
And it just goes and goes and goes, man. Like,
man, when you say that, I just see a mad problem in my head. That's all I keep bringing to my head. Because you say multiplying, right? Mm-hmm. You got your 1 + 1. You get 2. 1 times 1 is still 1.
Right.
But you just said multiply. So now we have a couple multiplying, that couple coming together. Now that 1 times 2 is 2. Now that 1 times 3 is 3. Now I go back to the addition. 1 + 1 is 2. 2 + 1 is 3. You're just going up 1.
Right.
Once you add that other entity in there, like Mr. and Miss Jefferson, you skipping numbers now. I ain't gonna say you skipping steps, but you skipping you're skipping some of the headaches that may came along the way.
Right.
So Mr. Jefferson don't come, we might fail our state test. Now we got to go backtrack.
We gotta go back.
So now God put him in our life. Us two times two. Now we at 4. We done multiplied.
We done
We
multiply.
ain't adding, we ain't subtracting. We multiplying by putting people into our life.
Right.
Expanding the right way.
Expanding the right
Boy,
way.
you on it. Yeah.
Gracious day in the morning.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my brother, man, and we was having this conversation about how Christ make the difference, you know, and that was the motto at my college.
Yeah.
You know, when I kind of fell out of my way, I fell out of the faith in the Word of God, in walking with Christ. You know what I mean? Because at a predominantly white school, when we would go to chapel, Mel Gibson's Passion of the Christ would go on these screens, and my white classmates would just be all in worship. Black choir go up there, they yawning. Then I would read certain segments about in the Bible, you know, obey your master as you obey Christ. And it wasn't mixing in my stomach right, because I wasn't taking. I was conflating the experience with that one part of the word, not really understanding what that meant.
Yeah.
Right? And so it was moments like that turned me away from the faith to an extent. And I was like, I don't see Christ making a difference here. I see race making a difference. So my religion became race-based and not faith-based.
Man.
You know what I mean?
So much in our community, man.
Yeah. I was like, man, they hijacked this. They got all that. They got everything from the black man from Africa, and I found material that matched my feelings.
Yeah, because it's real.
You know, and I'm like, I knew it was something that was pulling me.
Something was
so I went with it just to come back to realize this ain't the same. This not the same slave and master relationship of the transatlantic slave trade. That it's not the same relationship at all.
Different entity.
Whole different thing. The Bible say the borrower is slave to the lender.
Yeah.
So if you took out a loan, if you had any kind of debt or anything, you was considered a slave. Just like we go to we went to college. A lot of us owe Sally Mae. Sally Mae would be considered our master.
Yeah, could be over.
Tradesmen, lawyers, doctors were slaves in those times. And I didn't learn this until I got born again.
Yeah.
And trust God and had faith for him to give me the right understanding.
And he gave you that knowledge and
To
wisdom.
give me that knowledge and to give me that wisdom. But to go back to the math problem of how Christ makes the difference in math, when they tell you to find the difference, they want you to subtract.
Yeah.
Right?
Ooh.
So I'm like, when I was born again and I thought about the motto of the school again, it was like Christ make the difference. I'm like, dang. You know, when I went on my spiritual journey, or what I thought to be my spiritual awakening, I was trying to find everything that was the same in all of the religions and all the faiths. This is the same. It's all saying the same thing.
I went down that path, yeah.
When I went down that path. But when I was born again, God was like, all right, you didn't look at what's the same, now what's the difference?
What's the difference?
Hey,
That difference is the most powerful thing in that, boy.
what's the difference? And once I saw the difference and the differences, I cut all of it off.
You subtracted all the
I
other
subtracted
distractions.
all of it off. And when I said yes, for real to Christ, it said no to so many other things. And my subtraction problem became a new addition problem that turned into a multiplication problem.
Talking.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I really do love real experiences and bringing people like you on to talk and get in depth about how we navigate through this journey with Christ. You know, even for unbelievers that'll be having conversations with me as well. It ain't no prosecution. No, it's
conversation.
It's a conversation. That's an invitation.
That's it.
I just want you to drink from the cup.
That's
You
it.
know what I mean? Because I know that it will replenish it will replenish you in a way that I can't really put in the words. It's like
It'll quench that thirst. You want to know you're
You-
thirsty.
You'll never thirst again.
Man.
You know, if you want to look through cards to find the answer, or you want to put an altar together and put your ancestors on there. However you want to try to find the answers. Like Paul said, if your conscience don't condemn you, so be it. You know, I'm not God. I don't come to convict people.
Just presenting the word.
I'm just presenting the word, and I cordially invite you to go in this thing and find the difference. Look at the difference. Don't go into it looking at what's the same. Don't even go into it saying what you was able to discover through mediums or different things like that. Because the Bible don't say you not gonna hear nothing from other spirits. The Bible don't say
that the sources out there.
Oh, you gonna hear something. Yeah, you gonna get something.
Yeah.
Well, the Bible is saying don't do that because I got something better than that. But you will never know until you go.
Yeah.
You know? And so, man, I appreciate you for coming on.
Man,
is there anything you want to lead the people with, how they can find you?
Well, I let them know. Well, you can find me on Instagram, Marcus_C Brown. But really just follow the brand, KidFit360. KidFit360. You can follow that and everything will pop up. The castor, koala, 360 shots, everything. Just follow KidFit360 on Instagram or Facebook and everything will be there.
KidFit360, y'all heard that, man. Look, we on the God and the good news. That was great news. And guess what? When you accept the gospel, you right back in the garden where it started before we backslid. Ain't that right?
Yes, sir.
And man, you can always stay in this place of abundance, this place where you'll never be thirsty again, man. We have meaningful conversations over coffee, tea, wine, and we got this juice this time. Whew. Lord have mercy.
Be unbeatable.
Boy, look here, the unbeatable, the unshakable. You understand me? Get in with it.
Talk
we on
to
the God of the good news, man. I'm Church Hudson. Love, peace, and hope. Live on that. Love y'all, man. Y'all have a good one.
Appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. All the time, man. All
That
the time.
was good.
Yeah, that was good, man.